Alrighty, guys, welcome back here to the Divergent Gaming Open with Jake and Dreadnought.
How's it going, guys? We're going into, what is it, semifinals
Oh,
here?
yeah.
Nice.
Already.
Actually, I didn't even realize, I already have a draft link. Like, it's about to get real. Got it here. I'll do it in game for you. No, yeah, we're going to see. I was incorrect. I actually, during our downtime here, ladies and gentlemen, I looked into the draft because I was so confused. I was like, I feel like I know this name Excelsior, and I don't know why. I actually believe a different team was named that in the past, but it's a team that is actually I've gotten to talk to a little bit, but no ex-pros or anything like I was thinking it was originally. So they aren't going to be this legendary, maybe dark horse of this tournament that I was thinking it possibly could have been. It still should be honestly a great match. I don't even remember who pulls through here. I believe it's going to be their opponent. There it is, Gale Force.
Yeah, Gale Force.
He respected very much Gale Force. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I was like, well, maybe they're a dark horse. And then I was like, actually, they just got bodied. So I was incorrect. Well, here we go. We're going to move. We're going to move in. It is a best of one, so it's a little bit unfair. Everybody keep in mind, best of ones are actually some of the hardest things to win in the world.
Yeah.
All it takes is one pocket cheese, and you proceeded to beat a team that might be better than you at any point. So, but Gale Force has shown that they can. They've honestly not won every tournament I've casted either. So it shows that they're a team that can return, and they're obviously a great team, and they consistently do really well. But at the same time, definitely show that they it's hard to just come back and always win best of ones. It's very easy to just lose one game. Like I said, I mean, a team that I would absolutely hate back in the day to go on best of one in, Murloc Geniuses, man. Those guys would always have the secret pocket
Back
track
in the
come out with
promote
that
days
one
when
win.
they busted out that double promote comp,
Yeah.
dude, they ruined you guys that game.
They did.
What map was that?
I think it was Tomb was the first time they pulled
Yeah, I
it
think
on
it
us.
wasn't Tomb. That was a fun tournament, man. You guys just didn't know what to do, but
the beauty of it was we took that strategy and proceeded to win for like the next month and a half with it. So we've kind of mastered the cheese once it got fused on us. So we're really good at that. Reacting to the cheese, just predicting the cheese is a little harder. Map ban's going to be coming into play here. I personally would like to see us pull away from Dragon. I want to see a really heavy shot calling, decision making game here. Last time I watched these two teams face, it was 3 weeks ago, I believe, and it was going to be on the Cursed Hollow. THC definitely showed moments of strength trying to react to their opponents there on that map. So I definitely would like to see them do that and kind of move towards that map or decision-making style map, right? Where it's less about your comp, comps comes into play, less about the rotations and more about just straight up understanding what you can and can't do with positioning of your opponents. That's why I love that map.
all right. Well, we see they're going to take out Black Hearts, which you apparently hate more than anything.
Yep, I like that. I mean, but the voice acting, 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah, THC Black, they have the next ban. I mean, it really just comes down to preference. There's a lot of big maps here. We saw that statistic on the really interesting post with a lot of stats on Reddit. That Garden of Terror is by far the least liked map, and it will be banned out here along with Cursed Hollow. 2 big maps removed.
To be fair, I think the only reason Garden of Terror is liked less than Haunted Mines is because Haunted Mines has been out of rotation so much, a lot of people forget what it's like to play on it.
Well, that's fair. I think one of the bigger problems with Garden is like the double Plant Terror, the fact that both teams can have one. That like creates like a really weird dynamic of that no other map has, and I think that's probably why a lot of people don't like it. Dragonshire being removed, it's down to Tomb or Doom.
Man, we go to Doom, sadly. I much would have rather preferred to see Doom. But here we go. We do go. THC Black's going to be the first pick, first ban. Are they going to have the confidence here, Jake? Are they going to say, call you out? I want to see you ban that Li Ming. Are they going to go with that Rego? Kel'Thas? It's going to be, honestly, all of these teams are pretty much saying how they feel the meta is when it comes to hero prioritization right out of their first pick, first ban. Like the team just expresses so much. Li Ming,
wow.
I like it. So they're saying Rhaegar, Kel'Thas, or Zagara. They want one of those 3 there.
So, but honestly, to ban Li Ming first means that you're not confident in playing her, because usually if you'd want that hero, you can let it go. So
kind of. It's not always that way. It sometimes is. It sometimes is like lack of confidence in the hero. Really, what they're doing here is they're going to show if they. I think what they're aiming for is Zagara. They're baiting the Rhaegar ban, I think is what they're going for here. They want Rhaegar to be off the table, or they feel like Zagara in the solo lane is going to be so effective on this map specifically because Zagara accelerate. She's great in every map, but she's a god on this map, right? So then they want to bait that. They either ban Zagara or you ban Rhaegar. They walk away with a win in their minds, no matter what. It's what they think is better. It's not so much they can't leaving. I think it's very much that they're just accepting the fact that they feel like, man, this Rhaegar pickup is what we absolutely need. I'm going to be surprised if they don't take Rhaegar here over Kael'thas, though. I'll be very, very surprised. Then I mean, I don't have words. Hello? No, that makes a little bit of sense.
They've played Thrall 2 games in a row. They've seen great success with the hero. Like, you talk about his power when it comes to being strong in the lane. Zagara's being banned out here. Who's going to contest him? I mean, maybe we'll see a Chen to contest him. But
yeah. The only reason I like the possible Thrall, which you see them hovering, they haven't locked in yet. They're still thinking about it. I think that's because they're torn between that and Rhaegar. The only reason I really like that is because of the Zagara ban makes Thrall in the solo lane now pretty much win it, right? That's the only reason I like that pick. Other than that, I think that I would have liked to see more of a Rhaegar. Kael'thas Rhaegar, I wouldn't doubt here. There it is going to be from Gale Force Esports, not even hesitating. All right, so the solo lane won by THC Black. Now need to be worried about the 4-man rotations. What are they going to look to get?
You could get Tyrande, or they're going to go for Jaina, some big lane clear, some big presence. She's got the super strong early game. Tyranda's still a really good option for when it comes to supports. ETC also up there, but they're opting to hover Johanna over ETC and Muradin.
I don't totally hate it as long as they worry about the wave clear. I don't know. I'm a little... The Jaina's got decent wave clear. Johanna would be okay in the wave clear. Yeah, she does well with the Sunder as a follow-up as long as it's Blessed Shield, not Falling Sword. Ultimately, it's just going to be a situation where it can accent a really good Sunder along with Ring of Loss with the update on it. Think about it. Thrall Jaina work really well together. Ring of Loss with the increased accuracy on the inner ring. Going to be more people going to be hit by that Ring of Frost, and they work really together with that spacing. So that might be a big just kind of wombo combo-esque comp that we see from THC Black. The Johanna does work with it. Not necessarily direct accent, but she provides the wave clear they need. So... I'm not surprised with it. The Uther ban, I really like. That's what I was talking about earlier. The prioritization, Gale Force Esports understanding that, and they instantly go for the Uther ban. Really like that from them. Normally, I would worry about the Sonya, but with the nerfs to her, I think the Uther ban there is definitely really good. So.
All right, so I just want to point out that it looks like Kael'thas's little green orb is actually Rhaegar's hand, and Rhaegar has this little glowy green hand. I don't know if that's just me that's freaking out about that.
No, that's some next level
that's
ET right there.
That's messing with my head, man.
Yeah, phone home, Kael'thas, phone home. I guess it's Rhaegar's hand, but I see where you're coming from with that.
THC Black does have the next ban. What are they worried about? In terms of assassins, Falstad is a big one. Raynor is a big one. You mentioned Sonya as a big option that could pair well with Rhaegar. Sylvanas.
I think is one they're worried about. I think Gale Force, I might be wrong about this. One of the teams likes Sylvanas a lot, and she works well on this map. And so I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to complement their wave clear. Jaina's off the board. Kael'thas is decent on the wave clear. They lost Johanna on the wave clear. They've got to pull the wave clear from other heroes and other roles. And so Sylv is one of those ones that can kind of help with it with the early barb shot. And I believe Gale Force is the team that really likes it. So I wouldn't be surprised for that. The Sonya ban, again, out of THC Black, like I said, with the new nerfs to her, I don't know if I feel like I totally love that. I don't think it's a bad ban at all. What I'm more worried about is where THC goes with the rest of their draft here. Last game deciding to opt with at least their opponents opted with a Johanna Leoric, and I definitely fear they're going to walk into the same problem, but at least they have the solo laner. Gale Force gets the Falstad. You were right about that. The wave clear they prioritize is going to be good counter engage to the Sunder.
Yeah, I mean, just such a strong hero. He's got the flexibility and he's got the control on those fights. They're going to need a big frontliner. In terms of warriors, they pretty much have every hero they could want, other than Johanna, of course, because they've got ETC. They could get Muradin, but they're opting to hover Tassadar. This would be a very control-heavy team if they lock him in. Like you said, they kind of need to get a little bit more lane clear. Sidestorm, not necessarily the greatest, but it is something.
It works well as long as they're tank. So Rhaegar W on the tank, Kael'thas is going to be able to DQ and clear the wave. Falstad's Q is pretty good on it. They have a decent amount of wave clear. The real problem here is the solo lane. Tassadar is now almost 100% forced to go into the solo to keep up with Thrall. He's one of the few that can actually handle Thrall, so that wave clear that they get on the Tassadar actually might not be even helping with the wave clear. It's actually just going to be the guy who doesn't totally get bodied by Thrall. So I like the pickup there. The Sonya ban kind of forcing him towards that road. What this leaves open, Stitches. Works great with Falstad. Really great sight. Really going to be awesome when it comes to providing sight, wave clear, and then the gust to isolate if they decide to go with a gorge route, force wall. They've got a lot of things saying we like Stitches. Only problem with Stitches, doesn't excel so well when it comes to the wave clear type situation that they're going to be in. But honestly, it's not terrible either. He can go in, he can E, he can keep himself alive with the W on from Rhaegar. He definitely can walk away. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route Gale Force went. I can also see them not, but this is, if I've ever seen a decent Stitches comp, this is definitely the start of one.
Okay, well, Malfurion being hovered as that support. Malf Kharazim, some of the bigger options. Uther Rhaegar not on the table. Tyrande could definitely work here, but it's one of those situations where it doesn't have that same kind of follow-up burst, and there's a lot of really hard targets to kill. I mean, Rhaegar has got that wolf form, so he's going to be hard to hit. The Lunar Flares on. Falstad is barrel roll. Tassadar is near impossible to kill as it is. So I like the Malf pickup. It's got a lot of control. They buffed his mana return from Innervate. Oh, you're talking about Stitches, though, and they got him.
Yeah, there it is. I like that pickup from Gale Force. So now they sit in a situation. What I'm really looking out for here is what Tassadar's build is going to be when it comes to his level 1 and 4. I want to know if he is worried about the increased range on the channeling, or if he's going to worry about if he's going to be worried about the mana with conjuring, and then what he's going to be worried about when it comes to level 4 is mental acuity, something he's panicked about. Remember, he's most likely going to be their solo laner here. They could run Stitches in the solo, but probably get wrecked in the longer part of the fight. So I definitely think Tassadar will be solo, but his build is going to be something to really look at here for Gale's Force.
On Stitches?
No, for Tassadar, the build for Tassadar is what I'm really gonna be interested in. So, like, you have the option, right? Because this is a channeled map objective, mental acuity for the site, obviously to help Stitches, but then with the increased range at 1, he can delay better and like essentially stall as long as he can. That like I said, the fish in the barrel fall set with increased range gonna have really good. Also, Kael'thas has decent amount of poke as well. They have a lot of things going for them with that Stitches and Tassadar together that we were kind of talking about before. So, I like it. I like the comp. If you were to go at it, who do you think wins the draft right out of the gate?
Who do I think wins the draft right out of the gate? I'm feeling Gale Force here. Honestly, they've got Rhaegar Kael'thas, this crazy power. Although they might not have the strongest solo laner, when it comes to the level 10 potential, it's absolutely disgusting. The control they have from Force Wall, Mighty Gust, and Putrid Bile, that's immaculate.
No, they have an awesome composition. I agree with you there. I think they really win a lot. THC's Black, what they have going for them is a really strong solo and decent. Honestly, they have kill potential in their rotations too. Jaina and Malfurion are nothing to laugh at when it comes to the kills, so I feel like they have better wave clear, and they also have a more dominant solos. When it comes to overall team fighting phase, though, past the first turn in, when it comes to that mid to late game, I am terrified of Gale Force comp. So
exactly.
I feel like THC really needs to snowball this game early, abusing Sylvanas, abusing their Jaina in the early game, and their wave clear with Malfurion, and then I think they have a chance. But if they don't do that, I definitely am afraid of Gale Force's comp.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing about this style when you run Stitches on this map, hooks can come from so many different places, and they can start hunting for some of those high gem count heroes and pulling them way out of position, and it's got a bigger impact than some of the other maps, where if you lose someone, if they die, sure, you might lose them in the lane, you might lose some XP, but if you're dropping 30 gems, that suddenly has a much larger impact on the greater skill of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we saw in the last game on Tomb, all it took was one pick on one target with that Vala with 38, and they could have gotten from a situation to where they massively won to massively lost and engaged. So I very much agree with you there, and Stitches is a great hero to make those picks possible in the mid to late game. So really going to come down to how well the hooks play out, especially post 16 with the fishing hook. But I'm excited. Gale Force is a team that has shown their strength like week after week here at the tournament. Honestly, it's really been awesome to see them kind of grow as a group, and this is their moment to kind of show off, can they play with the big dogs. This is, in theory, kind of like a C9 comp. That's kind of what they ran last week. They ran a little bit different version of it, but essentially the same concept. So I'm really excited to see how they do with these less they're straightforward, but I guess less mistakes can't be made. It's very easy to be punished if you mess up this comp at all, so I really like it from them. So
I didn't realize that Fury had been playing with Gale Force, and that's very interesting. Fury's a very talented warrior player, so I'm excited to see those hooks coming out from him in this match.
I actually think that might be a new thing, but yeah, I agree with you. I didn't know that Fury was there as well, so it's going to be really awesome.
Like he
All the
sent me
rest.
the lobby invite, and I was just like, why is Fury inviting me to a game? And I just joined it reluctantly, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the right game.
Absolutely. No, this is going to be awesome. Fury, for those who don't know, a longtime professional player playing with Murloc Geniuses for a very long time, competed at regionals. Was also on Curse way back in the day. If anybody was around during that time, the SMG Curse Snowflake era, they were a part of that team as well. So longtime veteran here on the Stitches, which definitely has been known to be one of the upper end on very few players who was known for their tank play. Which is going to be probably shown here with this Stitches type composition. If you are Tassadar, Jake, and you were to guess, what do you think level 1? Are you going to go with the extended range, or are you going to go Conjurers?
Probably Conjurers on this map. I think most Tassadars do want to just go for that mana sustain at the end of the day. Denying the turn-ins isn't that difficult on Tassadar. I mean, he can get in there and get out pretty safely as it is. So I think the mana retention will probably be picked up. But again, that's stylistic at the end of the day.
I kind of agree with you on the sense that on this map, I don't think the range will gain nearly the amount of value. But
if
at
this
the
was
same
cursed
time,
or something, then
yes, that's
story,
where I feel I agree. I think that Conjurers will probably hold more value in this type of situation. But
all right, well, we are loading on into this best of one, the semifinals here of the Divergent Gaming Open. And on the left side is this THC Black. We have Buds playing as Thrall Justing on Johanna, Insider playing as Sylvanas. We have Frustrated on Malfurion, and Kraji playing Jaina.
oh, we got to pause right out the gates here.
Nice.
Nice. Mystically is getting a little bit of a DC there. I'm probably going to refrain from holding on the left or the other team. Sadly, A. Lamau has not taken his talent, so I can't sit there to figure out whether or not we are right or wrong yet. With the wind has been taken by Insider, though, on the Sylvanas, taking away from their early rotations. It does provide to our team fight, especially post 6 or 13, excuse me, making it a little bit more mobile and to get a little bit more free damage. But Barb Shot not being taken, making her rotations weaker. Keep in mind, her team does have really good rotations, so it's not going to hurt it too bad. But I'm one of those people who's far too obsessed about wave clear and positioning and rotations to where I always love the barb shot. So we're going to see how well that plays out for their Moonburn on Mouth, nothing crazy. Rolling Thunder on Buds as well. Different from his level 1 or his game number 1 build. Buds was going with the block and venom strat, right?
Yep.
Now I believe that was Buds. So he's going with more of the quote unquote traditional strategy here.
Yeah, the poke for days.
Yeah. And then Mystically, this is something that he does. I only him really that I see on maps where Season Markman isn't really a big pickup. He goes Gathering Storm on his Q there for the burst.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's a talent that I don't know how I feel about it honestly, but he definitely likes it on the smaller maps. I don't know if he takes it on bigger maps as well, but
I mean,
it's not the first time I've seen him take it.
Yeah, the hammering can get really powerful if you're hitting a lot of targets. As you throw it out, it does gain damage, but I mean permanent damage. So it's kind of like you farm up your Q. Whereas Season Marksman, you farm up your auto attacks, which Falstad has a lot of talents that really synergize nicely to make his auto attacks really beefy, especially once you have Giant Killer. When you're attacking one of those big warriors with your hammering out with the auto attack style, he hits like a truck. But honestly, I'm super excited. Does he spec full on like AP Falstad?
No, I don't believe so. I believe he kind of goes more traditional past this point. It just seems like he isn't a fan of the Season Markman on smaller maps. I think you might be right about the hammering at 7 instead of Secret Weapon. I might be wrong about that, but for some reason I remember you got to remember there's a lot of teams that take a little bit of a like crazy talents, you know. So sometimes I forget which ones are which when it comes to the Divergent Gaming. I know he specifically when it comes to the hammering, I remember that, but there was when it comes to the Gathering Storm, but there was a team that ran a hammering Gathering Storm. Falstad that I forgot about. I don't remember which one it was, and it might have been this one. I don't remember specifically. I can ask him honestly.
Oh, that's very interesting. It looks like everyone is just kind of patiently waiting for. They're getting their memes on here in the chat. We got some.
I guess he was the one who DC'd, so it's a little bit unfair for me to ask the guy who DC'd. I'll just hold off on that.
323 confirmed, my friends. Sorry about this. Well, this is a good time to go ahead and follow Dreadnought on Twitter at Tempo Dread. You can follow myself at SolidJakeGG. Dreadnought also streams at Dreadnought Hots.
Dreadnought_heroes.
It's so complicated.
I know. It's one of those
So
things where
long.
it was one of those things I originally made like a different one, but then when I started streaming, I was like, well, Heart of the Swarm was a big thing, right? It just released like when I started playing HOTS. So I was like, what if that acronym just starts dominating the scene and it's like everybody thinks HOTS is StarCraft, and I just panicked and I went with heroes instead. I don't know, Jake. I obviously didn't have my head together, but we are going to move into this game here. It's going to start up. We did get Mysticles to connect, but here we do in the red trunks. We have Fury is going to be on the Stitches Christmas themed. I like it. Ball and Beast going to be on the Kel'Thas. Lamau is going to be on Tassadar. Mysticles on the Falstead. And Hexo is going to be on that Rhaegar, the beautiful upgraded Doge. Sight coming out right out the gate, and we're going to be looking for hooks.
What's your favorite Doge? Quick.
Like
Rhaegar
real life Doge?
No, Rhaegar skin.
Oh, hands down, Master Blue.
Master Blue, we're best friends.
Nice.
Nice. I do like the third tint of the reindeer one though, because it's like golden and fiery. It's pretty nice. All right, the Condemn in the middle, pulling in 3 targets, and Blizzard crashing down afterwards. That power of the early game paying off, but the hook connecting on Jaina, and that is a very early kill. Johanna trying to pull them in to try to turn this around, but might be overextending. And Gale Force with a great start to this game. That Feral Lunge doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, he actually was a large amount of the burst. Hexo actually overextending a little bit there. Tassadar are going to be able to keep him up. At level 1, he did end up going mobility on Q. No, he went shield, so he doesn't have the extra mobility there. He barely gets out of there. He was a large portion of the burst in the early game with that Stitches hook, which is absolutely awesome. That Rhaegar now with that Feral Lunge can be kind of a follow-up to a Stitches in the early game, making their comp even more dominant. Another thing to keep in mind that I didn't really touch up much on this comps was that Falstead into the Malfurion post 13 is going to be decent because of the Ice Block operation, but most of the time Trank and Falstad with his Mighty Gus are kind of a really rough matchup to be facing into, setting them even a little bit farther behind possibly when it comes to compositions here. But again, we do need to see THC snowballing their early game for them to really stand a chance in this comp with their wave player.
All right, well, Stitches getting rooted, and the body blocks are attempted, but a great gravity lapse coming up from Kel'Thas, and Fury does slip away. Throwing out a hook does not connect, and Justin, taking a lot of damage, does follow the Falstad.
Yeah, and Krahi that entire time after he got the combo on Fury, everybody kind of split and commit me. He ended up actually not moving in at all. I don't know if it's Krahi or Kraji, I apologize, but he ended up, once his combo was down, not even auto-attacking Fury to ensure the kill there on those 15 gems. So team being a little bit split on their decisions going to set them behind in this early game, which is what they cannot have with their comp.
Yeah, you talked about the need to try to snowball early with heroes like Sylvanas and Jaina, but they're already down a little bit in experience, almost half a level deficit on their side due to those 2 kills picked up by Gale Force.
Yeah, and they're trying to make these rotations with their wave player. The hook coming out of mouth, perfect hit. The gravity lapse gonna miss there. He will survive. Jaina and Malfurion both popping their combo there on the KT, so he's gonna walk away from that now. Level 4 being picked up. No crazy talents here. I'm interested to see Rampant Growth or Elun's Grace and what kind of talents he goes here. 4-7. It's going to be really interesting here from the Malfurion. He goes Rampant Growth here at 4. All right, so I want to see what he decides to go at the level 7 as well. I think that's going to be really crucial to how well his team does with this Jaina and the follow-up roots. I think in the early game, their team absolutely needs to get Jaina to get a big slow and then root the target and kill them, just like they did to Fury before. Like right here in the mid lane, this is what they need to do. A root is crucial for their kill potential.
All right, they need that root. The Blizzard crashing down, hitting 2 targets for the first wave. Thrall rotating up, not enough damage on Ball and Beast. The shields come out in time. Gravity Lapse connecting on Buds, and Buds does go down. 3 kills in this game for Gale Force, and Justin could be that 4th target. Hexo does have the Feral Lunge, and it's enough for the kill.
Absolutely. They're walking away from this with a big advantage here for the team. And keep in mind, they've actually... Oh, my goodness. Insider's going to go down as well. The hook comes up, frustrated, gets the gems, barely survives. Mystically's trying so hard and getting so far, but not going to actually confirm the kill down there. A level lead now is going to be in favor of, excuse me, I forgot their name, Gale Force Esports here. And really, the Rhaegar and the solo lane's impressing the hell out of me right now. How well he's been able to do down there. I don't know if that's a skill matchup that's going to be won, but with the Rhaegar changes now, giving him the opportunity to kind of go brawl for brawl here is really awesome.
I'm loving it, man. I mean, the Feral Lunge for the additional damage has picked up a few kills. It's got those kill secures. He's throwing down the totem with the Lightning Shield to just try to keep up the lane clear, forcing Thrall to focus attention on those totems left and right. And it's been working out brilliantly. Buds is actually in a bit of a bad spot here in the bottom lane, being zoned out. The hook could come, but no, Fury not feeling it, opts to not throw it.
Yeah, it's really well done, and Rhaegar actually going to the mid and top, kind of transferring out. So instead of keeping Sassar to solo the lane, sending Rhaegar, I really like that decision from Gale Force, something I actually didn't even think of at the beginning of this game with the new Rhaegar changes, whether or not he'd be possible to get away with that. A little bit of an engagement here on bottom, but it's not going to matter because the rotations. Keep in mind, oh, great hook. Keep in mind the rotation decision making. Not only do they have the advantage here, which is what Gale Force cannot let, excuse me, THC Black cannot have their opponent have here with this type of comp. But more importantly, the rotations transitioning from mid to top, mid to top, mid to top to now mid and bottom here for Gale Force Esports. Understanding the hot pressure, Rhaegar having a little bit of a harder time dealing with that thrall. So instead of going to the other lane, going bottom to help him out here, and here we see it again once more, trying to make that deep shift.
Okay, well, level 7 was just picked up here on the side of THC, but they have the Web Weavers against them. A full turn in by Gale Force, and they're starting to really press their advantage. Some nice safe posturing here in the mid lane. Rhaegar staying bottom versus Thrall, just trying to escort those Web Weavers to the best visibility, but it is a very hard matchup indeed.
Yeah, Malfurion ends up at level 7 here, deciding to lock in the Enduring Growth as well. Top pushing for free here. Great pressure put on the middle lane. Excuse me, Gale Force Esports here doing really well. Hook coming out, gonna hit Insider. He's gonna E away though and actually survive there. Not enough damage coming out from their team. This won't be a fort here, at least not yet. 5-man committing to it. Smart decision to have Thrall soaking the other lanes here, trying to maximize their XP and catch up, but a full level lead here for Gale Force Esports in the early game, and a composition that I feel should actually be losing the early game if they're their opponents, or at least not losing it. Definitely their opponents need to be winning the early game if they're gonna stand a chance at the late game.
It's going to be a really, really uphill climb here for THC Black, that's for sure. Full level lead, like you said. Multiple towers, Wells following the hook, connecting an Insider, and that is lights out. Beautiful gravity left, but Blizzard doing critical damage to the backline. Moonbird just shy because the shields of Alamau in the Frostbolt barely missing. The roots connect on Fawcett, and he will fall here. Picking up the 1 kill is a nice small victory for THC Black, but they don't manage to get the Tassadar.
The most important thing is they do have enough gems to turn in here, but they all sit on the upper half. Fury's going to probably sit here and delay. Absolutely. They have nobody committing to the zone here because Sylvanas back. So even though, yes, they do have the gems, this turn-in is absolutely crucial for them. Really good body blocking there. The hook's going to come out, though. Frustrated is going to get pulled. Fury with absolutely phenomenal delay. Their team now hits level 10. They're going to dictate the pace of this turn-in, and they have enough to turn in themselves. So they just turned around a situation where, because of the Sylvanas backing, they ended up taking advantage of a 2v1 delay to now get the turn in, ended up snowballing their lead even more against their opponents. That was a tempo swing for THC, and they did not capitalize. Fury with great decision making there.
Phoenix, Bile, Ancestral, Forest Wall, and Mighty Guts have all been picked up, and this is a small window where there is a huge advantage to be taken. They managed to get the kill on Johanna. That's 21 gems that she dropped here, and they're currently being guarded. Sylvanas going in, misses the gems, and might end up falling here. The gravity lapse is true in a huge risky play, attempted and failed, and there is a turn-in on the backside for THC, but I don't know if it's worth it.
No, they're in a situation where their best sieger is essentially dead now. They're still a level behind, so they have 2 people dead. They're going to get a free clear here on the upper half and in the mid half, leaving 1 Waver to be effective with Rhaegar. Looks like he will be totally fine to clean up there. Keep in mind, his is drained, so he's going to get a little bit of siege out of that, but ultimately losing a lot of free health on these Web Weavers because of that decision making there for the seeds. Maybe an overextension here on bottom. Rexo being absurdly aggressive here, and Buds is going to end up giving up his life there.
Just kind of a sundering to buy as much time as possible, but Feral Lunge to clear that gap and pick him off. It is now time to open up the cleaning services and pick off these Web Weavers. Middle is being picked up quickly by Ball and Beast on Kael'thas, and only the top one is getting a lot done because Sylvanas has made it back out after she respawned.
To be totally honest, though, this is, the deep fly. We're going to get a Gust. They're going to try and force this fight 4 versus 5. Smart decision-making here from Gale Force Esports. Really great job there, Solid Jake.
A beautiful wailing arrow, that tranquility popping off to keep them alive, but there's a lot of damage going in. Putrid Bile from Fury. Kraji will go down. Alamau very low on the left, but he's able to slip away, and that's Tassadar. Very hard to kill. Ancestral on to the single target in the left. Alamau backing into the corner, still living, but Thrall is back in action. It's a big Feral Lunge coming out from Hexo. They do need to retreat. Alamau is too weak. We see Hexo is super low as well, and this is too risky to keep going on forward with the roots coming in. The gravity lapse, they get off Fury. Beautiful hook.
Yeah, they're going to survive this situation. Mystically is getting a little bit too aggressive here, but he's going to walk away from it. And because the Gus came out there, that Tranquility was able to get a little bit of value, but they're going to end up losing this team fight either way there. And a lot of that just came down to really smart decision making, taking that 4v5 and trying to force it as hard as they can. Keep in mind, the build was Conjurer's Pursuit and Mental Acuity, so Sight will be up faster for the Stitches hooks in this game whenever they possibly can. But really what I wanted to harp on here, Jake, was that even though that top 4 did fall down, I really feel like THC, when they got those 2 picks in the web we respawned, they could have cleared that out for free on top and mid and didn't, which led to them losing a fort. They obviously have a great lead and a great comp in this game, and most likely are going to be, as long as they play smart here, maybe able to walk away from this game. But I really do feel like they did not capitalize on that advantage that they had nearly as well as they could have, and it almost cost them.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point to make. I mean, they could be a little bit further ahead, but they still have that talent tier advantage at level 13, and they are flexing that, pushing down this middle fort very quickly. Webweaver up top is being responded to and will fall with ease, but there's still the presence of that one in bottom as just Johanna is attempting to defend it.
Yeah, and this could be a collapse. There it is on bottom, taking the aggressive rotation. There's going to be another free fort. Keep in mind for these team fights, if Mysticles does decide to keep using his Gust as an engage, he essentially won't be that effective against the Tranquility attempt there. Justing, trying to figure out his way out of here. And no Mental Acuity being used here from the Tassadar to provide the sight. There it is. He's out of sight. He's out of range. Max range. Max range. He's out, and he will get out of there. Oh, my goodness. That was phenomenal. Justing's going to survive barely. From that type of situation. He does end up getting back. That was huge. That was another staggered death. So really well done in his part to understand that and get away from that situation. That fort was dead no matter what. So
they got to be scratching their heads like, where did Johanna go?
Yeah, that was really well done. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. That was awesome. So Fury forcing this fight though here, knowing they showed on top.
The fly in, and they get the Gust onto Mount Fury and really secluding him, but he gets the Ice Block. Sundering coming out just on false, and the Wailing isn't enough. Yes, they get Gale Thos. A great start to this fight. Fury's going to get the Ancestral to stay alive, but Putrid Bile has already expired, and a big Blessed Shield onto Hexo. Do they have enough damage? The shields from Tassadar keeping him standing, but Blizzard is just about ready. Yes, raining down, and they pick off Rhaegar, and Justing in the front line with the body blocks. Fawcett will fall. Fury very low himself, the root connecting from Thrall, and this should be another kill. 4 heroes picked up for nothing. Oh my goodness. Fury, you are so ham, but he will actually survive through this.
Yeah, he will, barely. That was really actually well done there. A lot of that came down to what I was trying to talk about, the early use of Gus. If Trank isn't out yet, it's going to gain some value and keep him alive. Even though he did use it on himself only there, the Ice Block being really effective there to keep himself alive. I was going to try and harp on that before about if he didn't take the Ice Block, I feared a lot for his positioning here this game, so really good pickup by him to get the Ice Block, lock that in. They now do have enough to turn in if they decide to turn it together. Tassadar doing a great job delaying as long as he can, not getting more people down here to zone. He will get, great body block from Justing to allow that to happen.
Really
there.
well done.
Inside are turning in on top. They're going to get these Night Camp. They're going to push out a little bit, and they're going to try and turn in. Keep in mind the race to 16 is being lost. Johanna, great use of D here. That's like the 3rd play in a row she's just made. Justing laying it on. Buds with a defensive Sunder. Don't know if it was necessary. Playing the safe game. Don't totally, obviously it's not an advantage or necessarily the most optimal situation, but maybe playing safe is not a bad call. So I kind of like what he did there. Race to 16's on, and they're losing. They definitely need to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Sundering to get out. He's still alive. That's good, great, and grand. But he probably could have lived, even though Rhaegar or Mount Fury wasn't all that close by. But now they've got another 40 seconds where they don't have that turn in, right? Or that power, that huge engagement ability.
Yeah, no, they needed to win a team fight. They absolutely do. 16 tier. So this turn in while their opponents are about to hit 16 is a really risky thing. The delay coming out here for Gale Force Esports, but honestly, letting their opponents maybe turn in there, I guess it might not have been totally worth, but really when they turn in when you have an advantage over your opponents, essentially leads to free clear until that advantage is being met. So really risky turn in attempt there again from THC. Hook coming out though. And
that was so clean. It's like the gravity lapse is already en route by the time that target's coming back, and it just gently lifts them into the air where they promptly get stabbed 1,000 times into a very brutal death.
This is, okay, so they aren't going to go up to the boss. I was going to say, this is actually an extremely risky call here. Ball and Beast still on the boss, taking a little bit of damage. They're trying to force the turn in here. I don't think they're going to have 16 tier long enough for this play to work out, and they've had the wrong people tanking it. I really think Sylvanas might be able to respond to this. They're all really slow in rotations here, Jake. They're going to get away with it because of Jaina and Mouth possibly, but this is really risky.
Yeah, Hexos does have Ancestral to really sustain through this. We see that Johanna's trying to pull us back. Buds gets pulled in, and that is a very critical error. He's going to fall very quickly with Tranquility. Not enough to save him. Ancestral at the last moment keeps Ball and Beast alive. Gonna pop that Arcane Barrier for a safety policy. And Justin trying to turn this around, but the boss is here. Now it's like having a 6v3. Johanna goes down the pole onto Frustrated. He's got to be feeling frustrated because his team just got annihilated, and he is next on the menu. Tassadar looking for that Forest Wall. They don't even need it. Oh, Fostad flying in. Are they going to get him? No, he slips away.
Oh, yeah, but this is worst case. I feel like they did chase that Malfurion a little bit too long, obviously, but what they're doing now is staggering. They have the boss pushing with them. They have the Web Weavers in each one of the lanes. Sylvanas trying to slowly clear on mid on her own, knowing that she can't really do much until her team spawn. A minimum of front wall on this keep here, and ultimately great hook there on Malfurion. Oh, the Ice Block coming out. If he doesn't have Root, he's going to die.
Oh, the Gust used just a moment too early because of the Ice Block, but they get the kill regardless. Bud's taking a bit of poke. The boss still living with about a fourth of its health remaining, and the top keep, the first keep of the game, has fallen, and Web Weavers are still active, but so much damage being taken here on the side of Gale Force.
Yeah, and on the bottom half of the map, the Web Weavers are pretty much pushing uncontested. That's another keep wall, so another potential keep that's going to be possible with the next turn in here for them. I don't remember how many gems they do actually have up on them. Not too many here. Probably, yeah, only going to sit around the 20 range there. There are enough gems to be turning in for THC Black. This could be a momentum swing. The only way I really see them coming back in this game, right? 19 tier is about to, or 19 is about to be achieved for their opponents. They don't have a turn in forever. Boss is down, so there's no kill potential until they get a turn in, or boss going to be up, or obviously a large amount of kills. Take this team fight before their opponents are level 20. That's really the only time you're going to have an even footing here for THC to make a play in this game.
Yeah, it's a small window, and it's definitely going to run out very quickly if they're not careful. So they need to make something happen here and now. They have that potential. Cold Embrace is going to give them a lot more kill power now that they have level 16. So we'll see if they can make that happen.
Yeah, they need to not only force the team fight, but when they turn in, they have to look for keeps rather than just taking the casual forts. They're in a position where they're so far behind structurally, they have to make big plays here, and they're split. This is going to be really risky. Careful Fury over the wall here. With 16 tier fishing hook could be that Malfurion sketchy positioning there, could be his death there. So just constantly be looking for this. But with Tassadar zoning and sight, with mental acuity, they're going to just be goaltending these two turn-ins, knowing that the turn is really the only way they lose this game. Really well done from from Gale Force Esports, but really THC Black needs to be dictating the pace of this game right now. This is like, I cannot harp on how small of a window, but important this window is. They're gonna
half a level.
It's all or nothing at this point for this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not an immediate threat of gems on the side of Gale Force, but they need a fight, and they need it now. Wailing goes out, hitting 4 targets, which is making the Sundering to part the sea of their opponent's Blessed Shield on 3 targets. Ancestral not on the optimal target, but Justing is hit by that Force Wall, and he just cannot get out. A big root going down, but Insider pulled him by the hook, and Haunting Wave was just used, gets caught by the Gravity Lapse, and they're losing so many gems. They've lost 2 heroes, and Hexo is looking to keep the pressure on. Force Wall will come down, locking 2 in. The fall set with the aggressive fly, and this could be it. Gale Force with a huge play in the G-Laps through the wall. That is a full team. Well, Frustrated, you can just keep living. Go on.
Yeah, and it shows the strength in the new structures. Rather than taking the sidewall there and going for core, they're going to take the safe route. They're not wanting to take that free damage. Smart choice with how low their health bars are. Mystically's going over. They're going to look to get threatened on the core, and that was honestly phenomenal play. much Fury just finishing it. I much would rather to see the team do that kind of shock pulling and take that fight, even though it was going to be very difficult, than sit there and slowly lose that game as they were. But this might not be over. No, this is going to be over. It's only Sylvanas. I thought for a second there Sylvanas might have an opportunity, but then it's not really. Fury's got way too much HP there, and it's going to be GG.
I hope you're all dizzy from my wobbling of the camera in that last moment. Very well played by Gale Force. I didn't really expect them to have that strong of an early game. We saw the power of that Rhaegar really flexed in that game, finishing off some of those early final blows with the Feral Lunge to secure some kills that gave them a crucial experience lead. Able to use the snowballing of level 10 that they had. They had the superior teamfight at 10 to begin with, but having it first was absolutely phenomenal for them. And then they just got that structural advantage. They won that boss fight, and the force walls, the gravity laps through the wall, the hooks, they were all so beautiful, Dreadnought.
Yeah, no, they definitely really played it well. I mean, everything about their comp, we talked about how they needed to play it, and they did exactly just that. The most interesting part about it, I want to harp on, was their rotations between mid and top and for the early half of the game, and then deciding to go rotate through mid and bottom instead, because they had Rhaegar in that matchup versus the Thrall, which is definitely Thrall, a dominant laner. Rhaegar can deal with them without getting totally pummeled, especially the new version of Rhaegar with his wave clear and everything else versus a melee. Rhaegar's actually a pretty darn good laner. So he was able to kind of hold his own and not die because of his own sustain. The minute that the Rhaegar kind of showed signs of struggle, rather than keep smashing their face in the top half of the map, accepting it and start rotating to bottom instead, because their opponents weren't really doing much with that Sylvanas and capitalizing on the structures, they really got to minimalize their losing-ish lane, and essentially take that snowballing lead that we wanted to see out of THC with their comp, and essentially turn it around on them and say, we're going to walk away with this level lead, we're going to get the first turn in, and we're not going to worry about anything. Honestly, the only signs of weakness Gale Force showed that entire game was possibly not maximizing on the amount of wave clear they could have had while they had 2 people dead during that turn in. I was talking about, they gave up a free fort, but really, they played really well, and Fury definitely showed like signs of strength there on that Stitches, blocking and many hooks to make sure that his team's going to walk away.
It was beautiful, man. Very well played, but they're not out of it yet. There's still a grand finals match to come.
Yep.
And, you know, we've got a pretty likely situation where we're going to be seeing basically Team Blaze. Now, they're already waiting.
They're already there.
So, yeah. UTA Hot D team is essentially Team Blaze in a lot of ways. It's actually Claudius Huge DNX817, who is a sub for Team Blaze. They've got Cure, a previous starter for Team Blaze, and they have Mist, who is a streamer for Heroes. So they've got a full team of students that are going to be playing in Heroes of the Dorm, making their debut tonight, if I'm not mistaken, as the opponent to Gale Force, who just had a convincing win.
Yeah, no, they are going to be an impressive team. I recognize a lot of the players on that roster. I've gotten to play against a lot of the players on that roster, and they're really great group of individuals. Obviously, they're going to be pretty young, being a Heroes of the Dorm team.
Yeah.
Not being, and Yuge and friends being on the main roster of the Blaze, going to be taking up a lot of practice time, I guess, when it comes to working with that dorm team. So it's going to be, they definitely, obviously, they have the names to say we have the skill level to take away this tournament. But what they do struggle in maybe is with the synergy that Gale Force might be able to kind of like harp on with their long-standing roster, right? So we might see them try and concentrate on abusing that, but it's going to be a great matchup between these two teams. I know I'm really rooting for UTA. They're like I said, I recognize a lot of the names, and they just seem like a great group of players.
Well, we'll find out very soon. The grand finals, a best of 3 coming up after a very short commercial break. Stay tuned.